Canada's point man on North American trade says he isn't losing sleep over the fact that Washington and Mexico City have started formal talks ahead of the July 1st, 2026 joint review of the Canada-United States-Mexico Agreement, CUSMA/USMCA. Speaking to reporters in Ottawa on March 30th, Dominic LeBlanc, minister responsible for Canada-U.S. trade, said the Mexicans remain committed to a trilateral outcome and that private, government-to-government conversations with all three partners are not discouraging. Mexico and the U.S. announced in late January that Trade Representative Jamieson Greer and Economies Secretary Marcelo Ebrard had agreed to begin discussions on possible reforms, covering tougher rules of origin, critical minerals cooperation, worker protections, and how to combat dumping from non-market economies. That bilateral track sparked headlines that Canada was being sidelined, especially after Greer suggested talks with Ottawa were more challenging and lagging behind. LeBlanc pushed back. He said Mexican officials want to work with Canada and ensure the review results in a strengthened and ongoing trilateral arrangement. Canadian Ambassador to Mexico MacKay and Mexican Deputy Trade Secretary Luis Rosendo Gutierrez echoed that message at a Mexico City conference earlier this month. LeBlanc was vague on the exact format of Canada's current engagement, but emphasized the tone has improved since October, when President Donald Trump briefly cut off negotiations. He described recent contacts with U.S. counterparts as productive and said the Americans are now calmly running their domestic consultation process for the 6-year review, with Greer signaling a fairly traditional approach rather than a tear-up of the pact. Canada has plenty at stake. Roughly 70% of its exports go to the U.S., and CUSMA has shielded most of those flows from Trump's tariff barrage. Ottawa still wants relief on sectoral duties hitting steel, aluminum, autos, copper, and lumber, and it appointed Janice Charette as chief trade negotiator to the U.S. in February to steer the file. LeBlanc acknowledged business frustration at the slow pace, saying the government completely shares that frustration, but he remains encouraged that all three capitals are reading the moment the same way: a review, not a rupture. The statutory deadline to confirm renewal or modification is July 1st. Talks are expected to intensify this spring.